Sabaho everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the brand new TicWatch Pro LTE, specifically the LTE functionality of the watch. I've already done my full review of the brand new TicWatch Pro LTE and I'll give you guys a link to that in the description in case you want to check that out after watching this video. But what I want to share with you guys today is basically how does that LTE functionality augment the functions on this watch? How fast is the LTE on this watch and how can you actually use it beyond just normal Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and what are the things that you can do with it? And last but not least, of course, how does this actually impact battery life? As you can imagine, LTE is a little bit more power hungry than your standard Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, as most smartwatches have it. This is TK, let's check it out. Like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you're always notified whenever we have new videos on the channel. Real quick talking specifications, what we have here essentially is the TicWatch Pro LTE. This is the 4G LTE on Verizon exclusively currently. This is the color black. There is another one available. The screen glass that we have here is a Gorilla Glass 3. The material that they're using here as far as the casing is basically a compound between glass fiber, stainless steel, as well as aluminum black casing on the back here to be able to give us that nice little material on the back right there. Now this actually is using a silicone band that is replaceable. There is nothing special about this other than that it just comes with it. But we don't have that fake leather that's going on the top the way we had it with the 2018 edition of this watch. We are still running wearos, running version 2.7 as the latest one. It does work with Android and iOS. You just need to download the Wear app as well as the Mobvoi application on your smartphone. And of course, this is running the Qualcomm Snapdragon 2100 as the basically this is the SoC, and we are running 1 gig of RAM, an upgrade from last year, 512. We still only have 4 gigs of RAM, basically just for internal storage. Network connectivity, as I mentioned, 4G LTE as well as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So as far as mobile data, basically it's just LTE on Verizon currently. And the display is a 1.39-inch AMOLED 400 by 400 pixel, basically just an LCD panel, and it runs 2 different displays, and that's one of the really cool things. The one that you're looking at right now, as well as the color display that we normally have. And it does actually use the functionality that we show here to be able to save battery, as when it's not, whatever is running in this mode, the battery life on this watch gets really nice and long. But on average, you're able to get basically a solid 2-day experience using mixed usage between the 2 displays. And if you want to be able to go further than that, you can go with the Essential mode. And the Essential mode pretty much runs this one, which still has some functionalities, but it can actually go all the way up to a month. Now we do have GPS, we also have GLONASS support, Bluetooth 4.2, BLE, basically Bluetooth low emissions, as well as Wi-Fi B and BGNN to be able to get you connected. And the battery that we have here is a 450 milliamp battery. We do have NFC supporting Google Pay, so if you'd like to use that. And of course, it is an IP68 and pool swimming suitable, which means this is a slightly more certification than what we had last year with the 2018 model. But that model, we only had the ability of getting the IP68, and now this one is actually rated to work in the pool, as well as some of the functionalities in there were added to support that. Using this watch is pretty similar to the way we've had any other Wear OS or Android Wear operating system. On the left, we have the Google feed. You're able to interact with the assistant on the side. From the bottom, we have the notification. If you have any, they'll show up there. On the right side, we have tiles that you're able to customize within the application on your smartphone, and you can change the order of whatever they are, as well as what order they appear. On the top, we have the drag down menu, and we have the ability of accessing Google Pay, airplane mode, the ability of going into the sound mode by press and holding. You can actually access the different options here. Swiping from the left to the right is basically like a back button. Pressing this one time takes us straight into the app drawer, and you're able to access all the installed applications as well as the Google Play Store made for Wear OS, meaning I can actually access the Play Store on the watch and download applications without even touching my phone. Last but not least, here we have a configurable button that you're able to use. By default, it's configured to run the Tic Health application, which enables us to launch different activities, and you notice right there, pool swimming is one of them. Now, when it comes for actual battery life, as I said, 2 days solid usage with the battery that we have in here. You're able to initiate it, basically go in, do all of the stuff that you normally want to do. You're able to download and install applications, and if your application is supported from your watch directly on your phone, you're able to download it. You have Google Fit support, as well as the Mobvoi application, Google Pay, as I mentioned to you guys, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, Google Maps, natively running on the actual watch. We do have messages as well as phone that also will enable us to make and receive phone calls, as well as send and receive text messages straight on the watch, as it has its own phone number. That's one of the main benefits there. I'm able to initiate it, and it will run over Bluetooth if it's connected to my phone. If it's not, it'll go ahead and connect me over there. It's connected to the cloud, and then we're able to basically initiate different options. You're also able to download some of that music for offline playback. Again, swiping back takes us back here. We have, as I mentioned, the full Play Store, some of the activities in there, voice recorder, reminder, Spotify support, of course, Telegram is very, very functional, and I really like the fact that it works natively on the watch as a messaging application. So you notice right there, I'm able to actually go in there and it's updating my communications. I was talking to Joshua Vergara on this, and it looks just, again, works very, very nice. As far as LTE connectivity right now, as you can see right there, we can go into the settings tab. We do have a connectivity tab that takes us straight in. So you're able to basically turn on and turn off Bluetooth. Right now, I just went ahead and disabled Bluetooth. Same thing with Wi-Fi. You're able to turn it on and turn it off. I'll go ahead and disable it now so that the watch will run only on LTE connectivity. And then of course under mobile, I'm able to go in there and you have the ability of setting up to be either on, automatic, or off. So you don't have to use the LTE if you don't want it. Let's say you're traveling and you don't want to do any data roaming there, you can turn it off. And of course you can turn off the option here as well as the options in that section. NFC, airplane mode, of course, and location. This is for GPS tracking. And last but not least, now, when we look at the watch, you notice right there, it says LTE and only LTE. Although we are connected only via LTE, the watch still shows connected to my phone, and as well as being connected directly into the Android Wear application. And that's one of the main benefits here, is that we are connected, and it actually also shows me the battery percentage. I'm able to customize the tiles, the watch faces, all over the actual LTE connectivity. I'm able to go in there. As I mentioned, those are the tiles you can customize. You have the ability of customizing your agenda, your assistant, advanced settings. All of the things that you normally have access to is actually functional over connected, and this is again over LTE. Let's go ahead and turn it on one more time. We are not connected via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and it works the exact same way. That's the benefit of doing this. So you can go out, do a run, do anything you want to do, leave your phone at the office or at your home and not miss a beat. And if you're running this on Verizon, which is really one of the really cool things about it, is they have a functionality where they'll push your notifications and your calls from your main number to your company, basically your companion, which is what the watch is. So if you add this to your existing line with Verizon, you're able to add that for about $15. And then for that, you're able to basically push all your notifications from your watch directly, well, from your phone to the watch when they're not connected, meaning when they're connected only via LTE. And that's something you want to keep in mind. That's really nice to be able to use that, so you don't lose any of those functionalities. Now, to do a quick test of actual functionality, let's go ahead and turn it on. You'll notice we're still connected via LTE. I'll go into my app drawer, find my phone, and it will also give you access to your recent contact as well as call history, and then you're basically able to scroll through. Hey bro, how you doing?
Doing okay, how are you?
I'm doing good, I'm doing good. How does this sound?
Sounds okay.
Okay.
Sounds like a slightly speakerphone.
Yeah, so it'll basically work like a regular speakerphone. Sorry, I'm just going to turn it around real quick. And for the most part, it's actually using this little speaker that's on the bottom right there and firing directly out. But as far as you can understand me and everything sounds good?
2020.
Yeah.
Clear.
And you sound perfectly clear on my end. And then once you're done with the call, you're able to actually put a couple of things. You can either go back into the dial pad, mute it, put it on hold, touch the volume for it, or when you're done, I'll talk to you later, bro.
Take care.
Thanks. We're able to basically hit the little stop button and it'll end the call. Again, works like a normal phone and works like a normal watch, and you also have access to messages to be able to send and receive text messages directly. Again, all of this is done right now where my phone is not connected to it. Again, we're still connected via LTE, and of course, the watch is still connected and we're still transmitting and receiving information directly from both systems over LTE. Now, as far as a speed test, I did actually run a speed test on this not that long ago. Let's go ahead and just go back into the actual application. Now, there was no way to really install a speed test app like the way we have it on our smartphone. That's one thing you want to be aware of. So I ended up having to basically go into a browser and opening up Google and running a speed test using their system. And I was able to actually get on LTE about 5.2 megabits down and about 0.33, basically about barely 1.33 as far as the actual connectivity. So you can see it a little bit better right here. And then I did a second test not that long after, before that. And I was actually able to get slightly slower on the download, but a little bit higher on the upload. And this is actually roughly about what I'm able to get with LTE on this watch. I'm not able to get the high-speed LTEs that we normally expect on a smartphone. So just keep that in mind. It is LTE. You are going to basically have access to high-speed internet, but it's just not going to be the exact same experience here, as you really don't need all of that speed for the watch. Now, as far as battery life and how does this actually impact the battery? Now, as far as I mentioned to you guys at the beginning, about 2 days with mixed usage between the two displays with Bluetooth connected, as well as LTE connected on automatic. If you do decide to basically go in and use it all day as far as LTE, my experience within the few tests that I was able to run is I basically get about 12 hours worth of usage before the battery gets down to the point and it turns on the essential mode, which by the way turns on automatically when the battery drops down to a certain level. So essentially it's intended to basically run and never actually turn off. The main benefit, of course, between the two functionalities is that if you ever, let's say, forget your phone at home and you go out and you do need to run an entire day without your phone, you're actually not going to be totally out. And again, with your notifications and your calls being pushed directly from your desktop, well, from your phone directly to your watch, you're not going to miss out on anything. You just keep in mind that battery life does actually take a massive hit once you go there, but it should still be able to get you through an average workday. Again, from roughly about 6 a.m. in the morning till about 7 p.m. at night, that was what I was able to get. And that was roughly about 12 hours to almost 13 hours before the battery just basically said no more. I came home, plugged it in, charged it up, everything else was working fine. I was able to send and receive phone calls, send and receive text messages, use Telegram, basically still get my notifications over from my phone to my watch, and I wasn't missing a beat. That's one of the main benefits here. It will work, and it will work very nicely for you. The overall experience of using the TicWatch Pro LTE 2019 is definitely much better than what we had last year. That additional half gig of RAM, as well as the optimizations in Wear OS 2.7, makes it to be actually a much faster experience, as well as just the ability of going in between essential mode and standard mode. It also is a little bit faster than what we had last year. The battery life on this, keep in mind, we're still running basically the Snapdragon 2100 CPU, but because of that additional RAM, it's given us basically a much better, faster experience. We only still have 4 gigs of internal storage, so that's something you want to keep in mind. But as far as battery usage, a solid 2 days with mixed usage, and then you basically get the ability of charging it, and it charges up pretty quickly. If you want to be able to go even further, using essential mode will basically bring down the usage and just uses the top layer display. As I showed you guys, we have the dual layer display option here, and it works really nice. If you use it with LTE, I would say basically about a solid 13 hours, I would say, from taking it off the charger to the point that basically it turns on essential mode and you need to turn it back, well, put it back on the charger. So that's about 13 hours, and that's basically using it to make and receive phone calls, text messages, using Telegram, using basically play music. I was able to listen to music. I don't use Spotify, unfortunately, so I didn't get a chance to test it out, but I was able to stream music using Google Play straight off the watch and using a Bluetooth headset. That's another thing you want to keep in mind. You are able to connect a Bluetooth headset, which makes it actually function like a full-fledged phone, and the other person on the other end will not even know you're running it on a watch. So that's something that's very nice. I think overall, the optimizations that we have here hopefully will give us longer battery life in the near future with future updates. But as it stands right now, LTE is definitely nice. It's currently only on Verizon, and there is basically a companion package that you're able to add that there for about $15. The watch itself is still running a promotion on Amazon. I'll give you guys a link to that in the description below, of course, as well as the affiliate link there. If you do end up picking up a watch, that will definitely be appreciated, as it does help the channel. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed this part of the video. And again, I'll give you guys a link in the description to the full review that I did about a month ago, just to share with you guys, again, all of the little different quirks and things like that about the actual watch itself. I'll see you guys in the next video.